Tesla just killed all your 12-volt outlets and USB ports in all their cars except the Cybertruck with the latest 2024.32 update. This update prevents you from running things like road trip refrigerators and charging your devices when you're away from your car, and Tesla pushed out the update and didn't tell anybody about this change. There was no notice from Tesla and it didn't appear in the release notes. They just slipped it in quietly. So what did they do? Let me tell you. Prior to this version, the ports stayed on in your car under 3 conditions. First, when you were in the car. When you're in the car, your 12-volt ports work and your USB obviously works as well. Also, number 2 is when you're using camp mode. That's when everything would stay powered up. The third one was when you walked away from your car and left Sentry Mode enabled. Now, having ports on in these conditions allow you to charge your devices and keep in-car refrigerators running, which keeps your cold things cold even when you're away from your car. And when you're road tripping and you have an in-car fridge, this is super important. Now with the new update, they made a small but big change. When you exit your car and Sentry Mode is on, those ports turn off. That's right. Your 12-volt ports and your USB ports will turn off if you walk away from your car with Sentry Mode running. And when Tesla did that, it made it nearly impossible to keep cold food cold with that in-car fridge. Now, Tesla has acknowledged that this wasn't a bug. This is something that they actually intended to do and was 100% a deliberate thing. The reason that they said was that because there were some bad apples that were taking the 12-volt outlet and doing some really strange things to them, like wiring up microwaves or large inverters that were causing things in the system to overheat to the point that they thought it would catch a fire. Now, over on X, there has been some interaction with Tesla, and Tesla seems to have confirmed that people have an issue with this, and they may issue a future software update that will allow you to have some sort of control over those outlets, or at least acknowledge and tell them, I'm okay having these on when I'm not in the car. But they gave no timeline, and I wouldn't hold your breath that this is going to come anytime soon. So if this feature is going to be around for a long time, how are we supposed to deal with it? Are we just stuck? Well, for me, the first step in the process is to understand how quickly these ports turn off now with this new software update. Will they stay on for a while? Do they turn off immediately? Well, the only way to know is to test it, and that's what I did. Okay, for the first step of this testing process, we're going to test the back outlet, and that's where I have this large fridge, which may end up being a big paperweight in all practicality. Let's put the car in Sentry Mode. Let's close the doors, and I'll put a camera on the fridge display, and we'll see how long the fridge stays running. All right, let's close the door. Wow, it turned off immediately. Power back up. Try that one more time. Wow, yep, immediately, no delay. All right, here is my phone plugged into a wireless charger on the front USB ports of my wife's 2022 Model Y. Let's see what happens when we close the door. Yep, you can see right there the battery charging turned off almost immediately. However, I need to show you something. Now we're in my Tesla Model Y, which is an original Model Y with the original center console. Same exact charging station, same exact hookup. Let's shut the door. Look at that. It's still charging. Now, I did not expect that. I didn't expect that the charging would be different and how these software versions would work would be different depending on the age of the car. So those of you that have older generation Teslas, maybe older Model 3s or original Model Ys, your USB charging might still work. Okay, let's test the front 12-volt outlet, and this is a fridge that we use for a lot of road tripping and is by far my favorite fridge to use inside the car because you can access everything right from the driving seat while you're driving. Super convenient, holds a lot. So let's go ahead and shut the door. Yep, just killed it. So now given that the USB in my Tesla Model Y, the older one, stayed on, it makes me think, did the 12-volt outlets work differently? So let's put that little cooler in my car, see what happens. Yep, just killed it. So it appears the 12-volt outlets work exactly the same. It's only the USB that appears to be different. So there you have it. Once the doors are closed, the 12-volt outlet's completely shut off. If you're using any sort of device like an in-car fridge that requires it to stay on when Sentry Mode is on, you are 100% out of luck. However, some people have gotten a little creative in trying to figure out a workaround. Now, the most prevalent workaround, and it's not, is to enable camp mode. Camp mode still leaves those on. However, I have two problems with this. First, camp mode does not lock your doors when you walk away from the car. You need to remember to lock them manually. Now, this isn't a huge deal, and maybe you can say, I can deal with that. But second, in order to use camp mode, you have to have your climate controls turned on and running all the time when you're not in the car. Not only is this going to be a large drain on your battery and a hit on your range when you're road tripping, but I have concerns about the wear and tear on your HVAC system if you leave this on a long time. And I've already had my heat pump on my Model Y go out on me outside of warranty, and I'd rather not have to do that again. Now, if you want to check that saga out, just follow the link up here and I'll leave a link to that video. So for me, using camp mode is not a real solution, and others have actually found the same thing and have resorted to using additional hardware to make it work. And from what I've seen, most people are using some sort of large battery bank that can power the 12 volts. The idea is that the battery bank will charge when you're in the car and active or when you're sleeping in camp mode, and then the bank will actually keep your fridge running when you're away from your car in Sentry Mode. This is an absolute workable solution. However, these things are not small and they're not cheap, and the car was able to do this without that extra space and expense. It just doesn't seem right that they just turned it off cold turkey. Now, others have even tried to tap directly into the car's 12-volt system and get the power that way, perhaps directly off the battery. Now, I'm sure if you are skilled enough, you might be able to make this work, but Tesla keeps pretty close tabs on the power systems, and for me, I think you're opening yourself up for problems and possible damage with the car. And for me, I've even played around with Shortcuts app to see if I can automate some of these things to maybe get around this with just a click of the button. So far, I'm stuck, and I believe everyone else is stuck too. So as for now, we are all stuck in this situation. Now, if you spent a lot of money on that fridge for your Tesla, it might just be a big paperweight now, which is not cool. Hopefully Tesla will come around and allow this to be enabled again. I would gladly remove the liability from Tesla if they allowed me to just turn it back on and tap some sort of acknowledgement agreeing to some new terms of service. So what do you think about all this? Do you have a different workaround? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment in the description below. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate you going down there and tapping that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscriptions are always welcome. And if you're looking to pick up a Tesla of your own, and even in spite of this change, it is an awesome car, make sure you use a referral link to save a full $1,000 on your order. Use any referral link you want, but if you want to use mine, that will be great. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.